Family, welcome to the number one podcast in professional wrestling. And Jean Paul and myself, we're going to be talking about NXT UK. Hope every single one of you is doing great. And this show actually is going down. It's hard to say because it's one of my most favorite shows, but unfortunately, things are happening. And the tag team champions, they had so much effort, they struggled so much to become champions, and unfortunately, now they had to drop the belts, Paul.
Yeah, that was the main thing here. That we saw the spoiler, or if you read the report, or if you didn't, hopefully Rope Break is bringing you the news. If not, go watch NXT UK. But Ashton Smith, I believe it was. That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ashton Smith. He was hurt, and it sucks because they just won the belts. They had the thing. Him with his daughter. Look, your dad's a champion. At the end of the day, you can say, you're proud of him. He's done something. And then, you know what I mean? It's like gut wrenching for them to have to drop the belts. And I mean, as soon as they came out, the crowd was whoop, whoop, whoop. The crowd was doing their whole entrance and was hyped up. But yeah, they were complete. So you knew something was wrong, and they had to forfeit the belts. And Sid Scala comes out and he's like, "Oh, Sid, before we give the belts over one last time, can you call us champions and stuff?" And Oliver Carter was great too. He's like, "I'm not disappointed in you. You're my brother. We're family. We're legit. And, when you come back, we're going to get these belts back." And, Oliver Carter's going to go on like his own little maybe singles run too. I would like to see him versus Noam Dar. I mean, heck, the guy's hot right now, popular. They just have to forfeit the belts. That would be a great match. I think that people would be behind. Or he's really good friends with Ilya Dragunov, behind the scenes, so maybe that would be a good title match too. But they have to forfeit the belts. And, this was bad, but at least, hey, it was real life. It was unfortunate. But here is where the show actually gets worse because,
Di Familia comes out, and when they did, I was like, okay, easy booking, right, Paul? Am I wrong for saying that? Just for that should have been just like Di Familia should have been the champions. I don't know, but
you definitely don't just hand them the belts because, especially to a heel or anything like that. I mean, you would think, oh, maybe they go to the previous champions, but they're not a team anymore, and the previous champions before them aren't even on this brand anymore. So, Jesus, how far are we supposed to go back here? But, no, they come out, they try to muscle their way into it. And I would have liked to see, hey, Briggs and Jensen, they had the title opportunity, whatever, do Di Familia versus them, and you had the perfect out. You had Charlie Dempsey. He could have caused, the heels to get the win. The baby faces have the sympathy. They didn't lose clean. I'm like, you think, okay, this would have made sense. But, if you read the spoilers and stuff, you saw where this was going. And, then when every team comes out, and again, I don't know what you thought. You tell me. It felt like a main roster segment, a Monday Night Raw SmackDown segment where every team comes out.
Jensen and Briggs, all of that, yeah, right. First match in the UK, and I'm like, they don't even know who they are in the UK. And then of course, Mark Andrews and Walbor is like, okay, these guys only had a match as a team one time, and all of a sudden, okay, they received the title opportunity. I didn't like that. So like you said, oh yeah, let's put everybody and
I'm not saying height makes a wrestler, but when you look at this photo, doesn't that look like two dads and a bunch of their little kids?
Yeah, no, I know.
The Briggs and Jensen, at least they have.
And Starks is okay, but that's the word. It's just okay. It's not cool. It's nothing.
The only
oh my
team,
gosh, it's great. So
the only team that was believable.
Yeah, it's not believable. So they did it for family. They did a fatal four-way. It was the Andrews and Walbor, Jensen and Briggs, and also Mastiff and Stars and Di Familia. So this was going to be the main event. Like you said, it's really sad to see that so many people in professional wrestling nowadays are getting injured. Rhea Ripley, CM Punk, Bryan Danielson. They actually, all of them three that I just mentioned, they have caused changes into pay-per-views in Forbidden Door and what is going to be Money in the Bank. But here also, they had to just change everything, and I don't really like it. But it really felt like the main roster, Paul. Let's tell me a little bit about this, because this actually made more sense. This was actually something that we wanted to see. Why? Because Sheree, again, that's one of the figures that was supposed to be huge. Maybe now that Triple H, they said there's a lot of reports mentioning that he's back on NXT. He has all the power that he used to have before. Maybe if she ever comes back to NXT at 2.0, it's better. But Nina Samuels, this we're going to see in just a little bit. But first, Myla Grace and the return of finally Isla Dawn. This was good for Isla Dawn. You know, if I would have known where Mako was gonna go after Isla, I would have just much rather seen Isla being the champion. But I don't know. But at least in this match, particularly, she gets the win. She remains the character that she has, so that's good.
Yeah, this match was good. You know, Mila Grace, they keep pushing her. She had a little bit of a shine here, comeback. Okay, look.
It's like Angel
good.
Hayes, you know, like she
Yeah.
helps out with the division.
Yeah, I mean, and she's good, and I think she's going to be one of those who Amel was in this spot about a year and a half ago when we were started doing NXT UK when they started back up again, doing the reviews. So I think she's going to have a future here. And to comment on what you said, I don't think they wanted to put the belt on her because who did they have as a credible baby face besides maybe Amel? They didn't have anybody else. I mean, another rematch with Mako. But there's no babyface. Nobody really built up on this brand. There really still isn't. Eva Valkyrie's still out. All this stuff.
We don't know. But Ginny is pretty much in the United States. So like you said,
Ginny's a lot. Yeah, and Ginny's a heel as well. So good win for Isla Dawn. And they even commented too, hey, maybe she's going to be in the running, for because she had a championship opportunity before, a good win here. So this is good momentum for her. And she would be one if the booking wouldn't be so bad. They like the hokiness on the main roster. She would fit in great.
I know. It's true. That she will actually
with the
be
gimmick
like
and the character, yeah.
It's very similar now what like Alba Fire is now, like what like Kaylee Ray used to be. Very similar, like a witchy, like powers and like all like the bad has like fire, all of that stuff. But again, like I like Dawn at least is her own characters organically rather than force or change. Jean Paul, that like if you don't know, we're going to say it live. Jordan Devlin, you mention it, I think you jinx it in a way. He's going to be debuted on NXT 2.0 and they're a different name. He's not going to be Jordan Devlin anymore. He's like George or like Georgie or whatever. It's like different things. So like absolutely terrible.
You know what that is? That's literally like you go up to NXT, UK, and did you ever see the movie Mallrats? Did you ever see that where he puts his hand in between his ass cheeks and he shakes everybody's hand?
Yeah.
That's what Vince and the creative is doing to all these guys when they come over here. Oh, Walter. Hey, nice to meet you. Yeah. Nice to meet you, Gunther. Oh, Jordan Devlin, nice to meet you.
I don't like it,
or whatever.
Because again,
it's so bad. It's so
it's so like LeBron James when he goes from Miami to another other team, like he's not gonna change his name to like Jordan or Pippen. No, it's not how you do it. I don't care what people say about like Walter's Walter, Kaylee Ray is Kaylee Ray, things like that. But I feel bad for Jordan Devlin, but hey, there's nothing else for him to do in the NXT UK. He was never champion, but he was a dominant figure. Good luck. We'll see what they can do with you. Paul Nina Samuels and Sheree, he did this good because Sheree, at least in this one, if she would not be using all the cosplay and all of like the college like the high school student and all of that, I will be so much for this girl because she's really agile, great wrestler and everything. She gets the win, and like you said, like maybe she's gonna have a mentor in Meiko Satomura, so this is gonna cause the Emilia McKenzie to switch and become heel. So maybe they have a plan underneath all of this.
Yeah, I like that. Before the match, they showed a thing. They said Saray made a beeline for one particular wrestler here on this brand, and I'm thinking, oh, maybe it was Nina Samuels, because she called her out, but no, it was Mako. And hey, they're both Japanese, so they have that, that connection there, and they're talking to each other in Japanese and everything. And you see Emilia McKenzie standing there, kind of like so, and then good luck in your match, blah blah blah. And they're all talking. She leaves. She looks at Emilia and she's like, "You're gonna have a match next week." And I forget who she said it was against. Oh, the girl who's with Briggs and Jensen.
Oh yeah. I don't know her name, but I know.
I forget. Halen, or I forget what the name is. It escapes me. But anyway, because who gives a shit about that show anyway? But she's gonna have a match against her, and Emilia McKenzie should, because what we saw here in the main event, she should lose this match to add to this, and Saray gets a win here. The only thing, the match was all right, and then really nothing wrong with it. The only thing that I had made note of is when Saray, right before she hit the big knee strike and made her comeback, she fires up to the crowd. Nobody said anything. Nobody nobody clapped. Nobody. Yeah, they don't know, or they do know, and they're like, she's booked like complete shit. Watch. I mean, when she hit the big knee, when she had her, draped up, like set up for the 619, and she hits the big knee strike, and then, gets the pin or whatever. Yeah, the crowd popped, and the crowd always cheers for the pin. Babyface makes the pin. They cheer. They don't care who it is. So, But no, I mean, she's not really over. Maybe if she, again, hanging out with Mako, doing stuff like that, that might help get her over.
Oh yeah, you're right. So like we'll see what happens, but at least if they have a plan with Emilio McKenzie against Mako, there's the story just because of the student against professor or mentor. That's absolutely great. I really love that. Next week we're gonna hear same thing that we said last week. Trent Seven addresses the NXT UK universe, his actions on Tyler Bate and all of that. I don't know. I mean, the title to me that's terrible because it's repeating itself from a week ago. So I don't care. I mean, we're gonna hear a little bit of what he has to say, which is good. So
I think this was just setting up their feud because obviously it's like we heard him, he was all baby face, then he turned heel right at the end. Now we're gonna hear from the heel version of Trent Seven. So I mean, I get it, and again, Ilya Dragunov is on the side of milk cartons. We haven't seen him for months. He's missing. You know, we again, a lot of people are hurt. You know, the roster is getting depleted. They're taking all the best stars and changing their names like we just talked about. So this is one of the best programs they have on this show, one of the best feuds. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to see it because, like I said, everything else is if it includes NXT 2.0 guys, it's probably not pretty good.
No, you're right. It's like you said, it's just very annoying, but we'll see what happens. And you know, let's move on to the main event because, like you said, this feud is gonna take a long. It's gonna be weeks of like promo work, matches, but because it's not gonna end just one match. I think they're gonna do a few. Maybe the first one, Trent Seven will win, and Tyler Bate will go to the second one. We'll see what happens. But now let's talk about main event for the vacated like tag team championships. This match was decent, but like you said, Jean Paul always mentions this is like when the rules are like a little weird, and then you know, two teams in and the other two just like doing nothing. This would be like each guy from each team just going at it, and I don't like that. But in the end, for me, it should have been Di Familia. That's all I can tell you, just because they were like, you know, like there's a tag team heel that like they can actually do more with them, and they are from the house. But I think they did this just because to make it up for NXT 2.0 when Pretty Deadly went there, and they become the NXT Tag Team Champions over there. So I feel that that's why they did it. You know, the first one was this elimination, right, Paul? Yeah, it was elimination.
Yeah, it was elimination.
Go out when like, you know,
Mark Andrews,
also like, you know, Jack Stars.
Yeah, and then you know, again, you had Dempsey out there. That okay, this is the perfect thing too. You could even had the girl who's supposed to be with Briggs and Jensen. She could have been out there. Dempsey could have been eyeing her up, like, oh, you know, oh, is he gonna put hands on her? What's he gonna do? They get distracted. You know, I mean, the match, I won't say it was bad. And Briggs and Jensen, they're not the complete shit. It's not like there's two great Khali's out there. It's not, you know, or Omos or anything. It's not awful. It's not embarrassing to watch. It's just the promos aren't good at all. We don't care about these guys because they're on probably the worst show in wrestling. It's worse than any episode of Dynamite. Worse than, I mean, I don't watch Rampage, so I don't know, but you know, it's pretty bad.
If not, it's bad. As bad.
It's bad. So I mean, you know, we don't care about these guys, and for them, you know, to just win these belts. I mean, how long are these guys going to be over here? Maybe you think 6-7 weeks, maybe max. That's how long I think this title reign is going to be. I think it's going to be short. I don't see them taking the belts there unless Pretty Deadly's going to beat Briggs and Jensen on 2.0 and then come back. I mean, but I don't know. You know, you really don't know. But I know I see this being a short title reign. Maybe with all these tag teams involved, you know, we see a singles match instead of this 4-way elimination. But really, the only thing I didn't like from this is Di Familia is hitting their finishers on these guys, and it's not putting them away, especially when Tio Man had the crossface, and he kept I don't know which one's Briggs and which one's Jensen, and I don't ever plan on learning it because I don't care about these losers. But, you know, he had the crossface on him, and he kept, you know, either rolling out of it or powering out of it, and I'm like, this is the guy's finisher. So you're essentially just burying this guy who was supposed to be one of your top heels moving forward in this brand, but what are you going to do when Vince and his, you know, loser brigade takes over? But
it's true,
you know,
like
but not for long. Not for long because, you know, he's in some hot water right now.
It's a lot of
everybody knows about that. Everybody knows about that.
I mean, as long as Laurinaitis is not there, you know, we're good. You know, like I bet Bruce Pritchard is going to become the head of like talent relations, and a lot of people are actually saying that like the medicine might be worse than, you know, the disease. So we'll see what happens on that. But when it coming back to like this, like you said, I'm not happy because of these guys are booked like crap on 2.0, and you know, and that's why should you're diminishing or you're like putting this brand down by making them the tag team champions, because when they go to the United States, they're nobodies. So I don't like this. I mean, you know, the girl right there is cute, she's hot, of course, but that's why they probably are gonna like give them an opportunity or book. better, but I don't know. I mean, to me, the Familia should have been the one that like should have been like when the winners should have been the champions, because again, he's a champion from the brand. They don't need to travel anywhere else. They can have a long title reign, bring the Grizzled veterans, bring them as babyface. We're good. We have a great feud, easy booking.
Yeah,
No?
and the thing that we said earlier, I agree with everything you said 100%. But the thing that hurts this show, it would soften the blow a little bit. Who's right above you?
Yeah.
Where's the champion? If we, Walter was a guy where if we didn't see him every week, that's fine, because he's like an Andre the Giant type presence. Where
He's a hot commodity.
Yeah, you don't. If you see him every week, it diminishes him. But Dragunov, no, he was one of us. He had to claw and scrape his way to the top. He had to fight for everything. So you want to see him all the time. You want to see him, maybe not every week. He can have a week off here and there where you don't see the champ to build anticipation for something. But come on, it's been like at least 4 or 5 weeks now. And I don't count, I'm excited to see this match between so-and-so. No, that doesn't count. I need to see him in the ring or cutting a promo about a future match he's having upcoming in a week or so.
Absolutely.
So, we need to see the champ.
There's no other way. The girl, again, she's hot, so that's what I want to close the show with. She's hot. That's all I can say. Hot. Because like I don't care for these champions. Like again,
that's how we close
we go from
folks.
like Gallus was great. Like Webster and Mark Andrews, like guys from the house.
And speaking of that, there you go. We did see Shaw Samuels. He wants a match with Wolfgang. He'll get that. And then we saw from Noam Dar, what did you think of this? Or he said, maybe I'll have one last match, and everybody, please don't go, please don't go. So
maybe a coffee.
Do you think he's retiring, or do you think this is leaving again? Maybe he's also getting whisked away to NXT 2.0.
But I don't think retiring. He's way too young. So like I think it's because again, like I don't know, maybe he will never get an opportunity for the NXT UK Championship. So
the only thing I'm going to say is sometimes we got to start the Sam Gradwells, the Tiger Turans. Unfortunately, what's his name who got hurt by Tiger Turan off that the moonsault or or whatever.
Josh Morrell.
Yeah, Josh Morrell. He's good. Get him a character. Get him a character, a personality. Because if they're taking all these guys, we got to start pushing people. Exactly.
Split them up. Not more tag teams. Hey, be singles. Let's start pushing this brand. Feud again with Tio Man against Dragunov will be good. They can call.
Well, you could still. I would still keep.
It's gonna be better.
I would still keep them a group. You could keep them a group, but push guys and not.
But but like at least push the singles act. Like instead of just keeping it a tag team. But we'll see what happens. That we're actually now more vigilant than anything, because now we're like a little concerned. We went from a year and a half of being absolutely amazing, loving this show, and now
we were eating, and it was good, and now we're like,
now the red flags are all over the place, and that's when you gotta check yourself and take a minute and be like, what the hell is going on? But whenever you have to, you shouldn't never even think about that when it comes to Road Break. So don't forget, help us out with a subscription. Thank you to everybody that's been watching the videos. Don't forget, Forbidden Door is going to be right here with Jean-Paul and myself talking about. The addition of Kazuchika Okada is a little better. I wasn't like thrilled by it, but at least something better, because of no CM Punk, no Daniel Bryan. Seems like Johnny Gargano or Cesaro might be the ones replacing Bryan Danielson in that match against Zack Sabre Jr. We'll see what happens, family, and where they can find us, Paul.
And guys, so you don't miss anything, follow us on all of our social media. Rope Break on Facebook, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, Twitch, and TikTok, and of course right here on YouTube, the home of the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the Original Rope Break.
And you and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is...
the